Welcome to Rise and Hoop, episode 9. Obviously, we're going to get right into the BYU Bama recap. Left off, before previewing the game. Just now, we'll break down that game because I know listeners have been waiting for how many months has it been? 5 months now,
Five
since the
something.
last game. So we'll definitely go into the nitty gritty of that and then go from there.
We've needed this long to to process our emotions and be able to come in with some reasonable takes at this point.
Yeah. No, no, it's
Even
been
though
a
I was gonna say, in all honesty, we definitely overshot last season, so I know we weren't too heartbroken about it. But
Yeah, I think we're all playing with house money at that point. Sweet 16, first season after that Wisconsin win, how exciting it was. The Bama game was just house money at that point. But Ryan, I do have to shout out your T-shirt if you want to give the crowd
yeah,
a little glimpse.
give them a little preview
So,
of the.
so for those that went to BYU, you know the intramural championship T-shirts are coveted. So you can see Ryan intramural championship 2015. So when Ryan and I were BYU students 10 years ago. Our team, we won the co-ed basketball intramural championship intermediate level. Ryan and I were both co-coaches there.
Yep.
I guess how deep do we want to go into this? So, I mean, our team was called the Ballers. We literally had our own Twitter account. We had an intern help. Carson Crosby helped run it, and he literally got his first job partially
From
because
doing some of
from,
that.
from from that experience. We got on Yahoo Sports because remember the
Yep.
Caleb had the dunk.
Caleb
Um,
just
t-
absolutely destroyed somebody.
yeah, Terry Nashif, who at the time was a BYU assistant coach, came to our game and was cheering us on just because of stupid stuff we were doing on Twitter. Like he somehow decided
Didn't
to
he
come to
come?
our game.
Wasn't he there with like his kids?
Yeah,
Did
he
he
came
bring
there with
like
his kids.
yeah?
Yeah, yeah. I think it was like our championship game he came to, and
He was like in the RB bleachers, like above us, and we're like, "Hey,
yeah,
Terry."
yeah. And the reason we won, we had an ex BYU women's basketball player. Do you remember her name?
Yeah, Savannah.
Savannah. Yeah.
She
And
was
the
like the
rule,
starting center, I think, on the team that year. And then she had,
she got hurt or something, right?
yeah, she just was done playing. Like she didn't want to keep
Yeah.
playing anymore. And if you're just playing for a scholarship at BYU, it's like the you're not getting.
$2,500.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
like the biggest. It's not like like 50 grand. It's like it's like
Yeah.
two, four or 5,000 bucks. You're like,
Yeah.
yeah, kind of done playing. Okay,
Yeah.
and
And the rules
yeah,
for like a co-ed intramurals, like a man can't like guard like a female in the paint, so we just throw her the ball in the paint. By we, I mean not us because we were on the
yeah,
bench.
not us. That was the level of our game plan. Was just like, well, and then
Feed
Caleb
Savannah.
was on, yeah, feed
He was a
Savannah,
BYU
and then
basketball. He was a
he was
practice
on the
player for like the
practice
men's team.
squad.
Yeah,
Yeah, back then, and he even had other like low level D1 offers, I think, if I remember right. And
yeah, from like
so he was,
Utah, low level.
yeah. I mean, I think it was a little above that,
A
but
little above that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like not in the gutter. You know what I mean?
Dixie, yeah, SUU. So yeah,
Yeah, there we go. But yeah,
yeah.
that was such a fun time. Like
Hmm.
me and you kind of tried to put. I think we kind of put the team together because there were some guys from our original ward where we met that we
Yeah,
brought in.
we were the GMs.
Yeah, we kind of assembled. We kind of brought these hodgepodge. Like you and I were the only people that kind of knew everybody between the two of us.
Yeah,
But yeah, we had. There were some other like some of the other girls on our team were really solid.
it was.
Like I can't remember. Caleb's wife was on our team too. She was a pretty good hooper.
Yeah,
But yeah, I did not. I hardly played, and I think you would go in on occasion to throw some. You're more of a
I'd splash
3 point
some threes.
specialist. Yeah, you
Yeah,
get out there and if we need a little spark off the bench for a second, take
yeah,
off the tie, put on the penny real quick,
yeah,
and then
yeah,
run in.
yeah. That was fun. Yeah, we were stupid at BYU, but we had a lot of fun.
We did.
So
We got the
yeah,
shirt,
yeah, that's
and
what counts.
that's what
That's
counts.
that's worth more than a degree in my opinion.
Oh yeah, I mean
Way more people get degrees than intramural championship shirts, if we're being honest.
that's true. Yeah, these are way more. Yeah, I mean way more scarce. Definitely
Yeah.
more scarce. I have it
Hmm.
on my resume. I mean,
Yeah, I don't have. That's the first thing. Like when if I job interview, they ask me like, "Wait, you have an intramural championship T-shirt?" Like
oh
from
yeah,
BYU. It's like, yeah, like oh, wow,
oh
hired.
man, hired right away.
Yeah,
My favorite thing of that was just like the Twitter account. Like we ran that thing. Carson ran it. I think he had torn his ACL right before, so he goes
Yeah,
like we could have put him on the team. I think in hindsight we realized like him and Derek, we were like, oh, we should have like put them on the
yeah,
team even though they didn't play. But
yeah.
we missed on that one. Sorry guys. But
Somehow the Twitter account got like suspended from Twitter. Like I don't know why.
just too much heat, I think.
Yeah,
Like
it was
there's
too
just
much heat.
the content was just too good, you know.
Yeah, yeah. But we literally did get on Yahoo Sports, and like I think they put it on BYU Sports Nation.
Sports Nation talked about us too.
Because like a dunk Caleb threw down. So yeah,
I have tried to revisit the Yahoo Sports page link since
yeah,
then, and
it's like gone.
completely gone.
Yeah, too much heat also.
Way too much heat. I do know for my IS-1 or 201,
Back when IS used to be called ISIS. Like remember we used to call it ISIS
they
201.
changed that one up.
Yeah.
I'll have to find. I based my entire. You have to make a website in that class, and I made my website was all about the BYU Ballerz.
Yeah.
And it was when we were going for our back to back the following season.
Yeah.
And had the Drake song back to back playing on it in the background. That was like my one thing. Like I was like, it's not required, but I figured that out, and the rest of my website sucked.
Yeah.
And I got like an A for it. Like they're like, oh cool, you like figured out how to make song, like music play in the background. I was like, yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
If I find it, I'll tweet out the website. I think it's still up. I just can't remember what it was called. But
Yeah.
the Legend of the Ballers, yeah, man, it was a fun ride.
Yeah. Anyways, that's it for this episode. I know for the Ballers episode, we'll put in the back.
Yeah, this is our 9th episode special.
Yeah.
So thanings for tuning in,
BYU
everybody.
Ballers. Yeah. All right. I guess we'll talk about real BYU basketball. Where to start? So I guess I could start. So obviously, I think off season. Yeah, the season ended end of March. I feel like one of the big questions going to the off season, like what Jaeger is going to do, like because during the whole season, like he didn't say he was one and done, but everyone I talked to, I assumed he was one and done the whole time. But Jaeger, I think, loved BYU more than Jaeger or anyone else like imagined. Like he started dating Delaney Gibb, BYU star, women's basketball player, and as far as I know, they're still dating. So like that
Very
was
nice.
part of it. Like him and Travis Hansen. Travis Hansen was a big reason why he came to BYU. Jaeger came really close with his family, and you see, he really assimilated himself in the BYU community. And then just with the chance maybe to come back to BYU, play with AJ, gun maybe for a national championship. Like Jaeger really thought about coming back to BYU, where I thought like a week or two leading the decision, I thought he was actually going to do it. The way and what I heard, like he gave BYU like a number, a take or leave it number, and it was a large number, like $3-4 million plus in BYU. This is just according to one person I heard. They decided no because they couldn't use that money elsewhere. So Jaeger, I mean, there was no hard feelings. Obviously, went to the NBA, probably made the right decision. Drafted 8th overall by the Brooklyn Nets.
And that's a large number, but not compared to what he's getting in the NBA.
Yeah.
Right, even as like a top 10 pick.
Yeah. But
which to your point, I feel like
guaranteed for multiple years also.
Right.
So
like the fact, to your point, I feel like even when it was a possibility, I remember kind of being like, to your point, it was like and you could tell like in the interviews they did post Bama game, like he was pretty emotional. Like anytime, like you could tell he had loved his experience. And like then when he was actually willing to come back, not quite, but like Arch's uncle or somebody has said like he's coming back, and it's like like he number one NFL pick like is going to be like multiple millions and millions of dollars each year. Same concept, but at an even higher level. But it was kind of the same thing where like that one, you're like, there's no way that's real. And I mean, hey, who knows? But with the Igor thing, when it actually was like it was more up in the air, like you said, there was a point where it was like, hey, this might actually happen.
Yeah,
that was like I felt like that was super cool to see like the impact that BYU had on him, and vice versa. Like he was a big part of our run in the tournament too.
Yeah, no, and I'm really glad the way the season ended for Jaeger. Like he's always had the NBA potential, but like his actual production on the court was like up and down throughout the season. But he was a major part of BYU's Sweet 16 run against the game against VCU. And obviously the game against Wisconsin, he was big with his shooting, got really good got much better down the stretch. His passing obviously has always been there. That was a big part. Even against Alabama, like he held his own, even though BYU got blown out there. So I'm really glad that he went out on a high note for BYU. Like he was a major cog into the Sweet 16. So I think good BYU fans, like even with the ups and downs, like the way he ended will always give BYU fans a good taste, and just the way he embraced BYU, he'll always be very well received whenever he comes back to BYU, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, BYU loves players that embrace BYU more than maybe any school. Yeah. I don't know what it is, but we love,
especially outside of like the framework of like the normal, like it's like it's like great, like Richie Saunders loves BYU. It's like, and Richie's gonna be an all-timer, but it's like he grew up going to BYU, so it's like duh, he's gonna love.
You get BYU, a lot of guys, out of Utah or wherever, but when you get the person from out of the country or out of the state, out of the religion that come and they, like Jamal Williams, like he's still to this day like just an absolute legend. You know what I mean? Like you just love seeing him succeed, and he still loves BYU.
And even like just outside, like random Twitter accounts that like show love to BYU fans will eat them up. It was like a few years ago. There was like that one random kid from like a Kansas fan. Like BYU fans literally flew him out because he made some like edits for BYU. Like honestly, I thought that was a little too far, but it's just like
we definitely pushed the line a little too far sometimes. Yeah, I think it was a kid from Tennessee. Was it Tennessee?
Oh yeah, it was Tennessee. Yeah, not Kansas, Tennessee. Yeah, like he started making edits about BYU, and then like for some reason we just BYU fans that really embraced him, which it just kind of shows BYU. We want to be loved. I think it's probably just because we're LDS, most of us are members of the church. Like we think people don't have like proper perceptions of us. So when people like us, we're like, whoa, this is great. And we really try to bring them into the fold. Maybe it's like a little too much. It's like like overly nice. But so I think there's like some of that going on. Like we want to be liked. We want to be normal. Like we want people to think we're Christian. Like we want all this stuff to be seen mainstream. Whereas I mean we are unique at the end of the day. But I think that makes us who we are.
Definitely.
Anyways, I guess not to get down the religious road too much, but so Jaeger was gone, and then point guard became a must. Became a top priority, and the whole Rob Wright saga. There was a lot around that. It's like, oh, did BYU tamper? Did BYU not tamper? And at the end of the day, like I think thought was when he went to the portal, like he's from Philadelphia. Villanova was like one of the teams like. And then we say tampering, like BYU coaches like didn't call Rob Wright's representatives, like everything, how it works, like agents talk to other people, like agents, like everybody pre-portals in the portal. I call it pre-portaling. Like no one's just going in the portal without an idea where they're going to go. Like an agent will call up 30, depending how high profile the player will call up collectives, call up people close to the staff and just be like, hey, this guy's in at the portal, how much would you give him? And then just to kind of get a number and see what coaches, and then the player goes in. Like that's what happens. That's not tampering. Like there's no rule against that. Even if you prove that, like it's all through like agents and stuff. Like that's what's going on. So and especially before there was no rev cap this year, there was no cap on NIL. Like the money this year was just insane. So Rob Wright won the portal. Villanova was kind of early favorite, but BYU swooped in Kevin Young's NBA system. At BYU did pay him well. They didn't pay up like to the $4 million, which was reported. It was like closer to $2 million. But like I'm super excited about Rob Wright. Like we saw Rob, like he was all for, like he kind of got overshadowed a little bit by VJ Edgecombe at Baylor, because Edgecombe was the big kind of recruit coming into the Big 12 for Baylor, and rightfully so. And he just went top 5, I think third overall to the Philadelphia 76ers, and had a great freshman season. But Rob Wright was like right up there with VJ Edgecombe this past season. Like Rob Wright, he was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school. He played with Cooper Flagg his senior year at high school, so he's used to playing with high level players. He played with Cooper Flagg. He played with VJ Edgecombe. Now he's going to play with AJ Dybantsa. And we saw firsthand what he did against BYU. I think he had 22 points, 6 assists, and that was one of the most just high-level basketball games at BYU there. Just like the shot making in that game. That was the game Kanon catching was perfect from the floor. Yeah, and then VJ Edgecombe and Rob Wright, BYU had no answer for them. Richie Saunders, like went to overtime, just super high-level basketball. And you could tell there was a lot of NBA talent on the floor, and Rob Wright was part of that. Like he had some really good moments last year. There was a game last year, Baylor was down 20 plus to Kansas. He had led them with 24 points, led them to a big comeback victory. And Baylor won their first round of the NCAA tournament over Mississippi State. They were a 9 seed. He was their leading scorer that game with 19 points. Like he was a really big part of the season. Coming into this year, he's arguably the first or second best point guard in the Big 12. Like even if he was on Baylor, he'd be up for preseason first team all Big 12. I think probably like him and Milos Uzan from Houston are probably the two best point guards going into the Big 12 this year. And like what Rob Wright, you just don't see freshmen, especially in the Big 12, like produce as much as he did, averaging 11.5 points, 4 assists. So like, if I would have rather probably had a Yegor going into the season just because of the continuity, what we saw last year from Yegor, just we know he loves BYU, and Yegor's a better NBA prospect, but Rob Wright's probably he has NBA potential, but he's a little small. He's like 6 foot, but he's probably a better college player than Yegor is. Like I have really high hopes for Rob Wright. Like he's a lightning quick point guard. He can't shoot the 3, but his game is on getting to the rim. Like 75% of his field goal attempts were from 2. Gets to the free throw line, shoots about 80% from the line, and really good passer and facilitator. So like him, AJ, and Richie Saunders, like probably like a top 3, like big 3 in college basketball. Like BYU's got to surround them with other stuff, and I think they can. But as far as like 3, like an offensive trio, like that 3 could arguably be the best in the country. Like I have super high expectations for Rob Wright and for the freshman, the sophomore jump he can make. He's familiar with the Big 12. He's going to have like good pieces around him. So super high with Rob. Like honestly, he has All-American potential, and that's not just me saying that. Like national pundits are saying that. Like he was a 5-star guy in high school for a reason. He's used to play with he played with Cooper Flag, so he's used to playing with high-profile players. Like he's going to be fine, deferring to Richie Saunders and AJ Dybantsa for the spotlight. So really excited. Like Rob, like we talk about AJ a lot and Richie a lot for obvious reasons, but Rob Wright's. If BYU is going to get to the Final Four, it could be for national championship. He's going to be a really big piece of that.
Absolutely. It's cool too. It's kind of one of those things where, you add in, to your point, even if maybe he's not the best point guard in the country or in the Big 12, but my hunch is that he's going to look and be able to operate at a really high level, having AJ and Richie on the floor with him and like them working together. Kind of like, like when the Warriors were super hot and they had Clay and Steph, like alone, just those 2 guys commanded so much attention, so much, scheming that, that's where you had other guys that kind of would show out like a Jordan Poole or Iguodala or whoever, kind of filled those 3rd and 4th shooter roles for them. It's like you're drawing so much attention. So I feel like, I think a lot of guys will benefit, but I feel like he'll benefit, obviously, getting to build that connection in terms of facilitating, but just also, when you're really good and you've got 2 guys even better than you, but that just makes your job, you're not getting the best defender or the second best defender. He's probably going to pull that 3rd best defender, depending on size and matchups. But because that's the other kind of cool thing I noticed is you're kind of the profile of our point guard is shifting pretty big from Yegor, really tall, really big, down over to to Rob, who's a little more on the undersized side professionally, especially in terms of a guard. But yeah, man, I'm with you. I'm excited just to see how he fits into everything, and it's even more exciting just when you are bringing everybody. You're bringing a lot of good pieces back. You're adding one, the top 1 or 2 recruit in AJ, and then you're adding in not just like a freshman point guard, but like there's a ton of value in the fact that he's played a full season at the college level and in the Big 12. So at least he's also bringing over, right, just the experience of, hey, I've played in this league, I've played these teams, I'm familiar with the other teams in this league and the coaches and some of that level of familiarity, but also just I've played the physical level of Big 12 basketball for a full year. Okay, now I know, I feel like this off season, it just lets you approach everything in a different way where you're like, hey, I know what I'm in for. I'm not just like trying to imagine it and then I get, smacked around a little bit to figure it out, which every freshman is going to have to go through. But yeah, man, it's an exciting combo.
Yeah, I think, there's obviously a lot to be excited about this team. I mean, they're going to be a top 10 team. They're going to compete they have a chance, to compete for Final Four, be one of the teams that's in the mix for national championship. But I don't want to be total, blue goggle about everything. I mean, there's a reason like Rob Wright's not in the NBA right now, and he is small. Right. He's 6 foot, so like the teams can take advantage of him on switches, on defense. Like if he gets on a big guard or a big on a mismatch, like he can be overpowered there a little bit. Also, his 3-point shooting is a little inconsistent. He did shoot 35% from 3 last season, which is good, but he was sub 30% from 3 in the Big 12. So again, like the 3-point balls, like it's not like a huge part of his game, but it's something that he's gonna need to get a little more consistent on that if he wants to be truly like a first team All Big 12, compete for All American honors type player. So like again, he's a lot of really good things about him. One thing I like him too, like BYU got destroyed by Houston twice last year, just their physicality. And Baylor played Houston. They played Houston twice last year, and in the second game against them, he played 30 minutes against them. They lost by 4, and he didn't have a great shooting game, but he had 0 turnovers against Houston in 30 minutes. So Houston, like Jaeger struggled a lot with that physicality against Houston and other teams. But Rob Wright, he doesn't get the ball ripped from him quite as much. Again, he's really quick, so he kind of like elude some of those double teams, even though he's not the most physical guy, but he can handle pressure. Again, that shows like Houston had 0 turnovers against him the second game he played. Like they almost beat Houston that game. So that's one thing I think that will help BYU a lot. That's what BYU struggled with, and he's good at breaking the press, not getting too bogged down by physicality, especially year 2. I think that's something he could be good at. So Robert, obviously, slot him as your starting point guard. BYU's probably going to try to ride him 32 or so minutes a night. And super excited about him. We go through some of the other additions. Kanon Davis was probably like probably the second biggest one. He kind of came in a little later. He's kind of off the radar for a lot of fans. So like he's coming from Southern Illinois, played 2 seasons there. Freshman season was pretty nondescript. He averaged just 4 points as a freshman, but going to sophomore, he made one of the biggest freshman to sophomore jumps out of not only in the Missouri Valley Conference, but of really any player in college basketball. Like his sophomore year, he's a 6'6" wing, averaged 16 points there. Shot about 38% from 3. And he averaged three assists, so not a super high number, but he was really like their point forward for Southern Illinois. Like watching him a little bit, like they didn't have a true point guard, so he does have a lot of point guard skills about him. So he can be a playmaker on the wing. He could even like in a pinch play some like backup point guard minutes, like if BYU wants him to kind of run the point a little bit. So he's probably going to start at the 3 for BYU. One thing I've heard about him in practice, so BYU is obviously excited to bring him in. Like they expect him to kind of, and not only to provide offensively, he could score, but they're really relying on him defensively. Some of his physicality as a 6'6" wing. They want to be really physical defensive presence and really guard oftentimes the team's best perimeter player. One thing I heard from people who've been watching practice, like they liked what they saw with him on film, but almost out of any player, the BYU's had these 3-week summer practices in August, and they're wrapping him up right now. A couple of people I've heard, they said he's been like one of the most pleasant surprises. Like they expected him to start, but one person in particular said, "Wow, looks even like definitely better than he did on film, just in person." So people have been really excited about him, what he's been showing, just with his physicality, with the shooting ability that he's been showing so far this offseason. Like he could rebound the ball, he could really defend. So he's kind of like a wild card a little bit for the team. Like he's probably slotting him as the 5th starter, but if he can be like that really deep, like gives a little bit of what Mag gave you on the defensive end, but plus some maybe incremental scoring, with like, able to create for himself, able to knock down shots. I think he's going to be a really big piece for this team. Like it's going to be a big jump from him going from he was Southern Illinois, a team that was not very good in the Missouri Valley Conference, going all the way up to the Big 12. So there'll probably be some growing pains for him. But I mean, he's probably going to be like starting on the floor. Like I mean, AJ, Richie, and Rob Wright and get like the 3 best defenders. So he's gonna could have like a lot of mismatch opportunities. Not gonna get any double teams thrown his way very often at all. So he's got a lot of opportunity. I mean, he might not get a ton of plays schemed up for him. So he's got to be a guy that could hit, catch, and shoot shots, which is something he's got to prove he could do it on a consistent basis. But it's just his physicality. He's got to. he's got a really good chance to make to be a real impact player for this team.
That's awesome to hear. And yeah, I mean, so is it kind of seeming like, start as far as like most likely starting 5 combo, Rob Wright, Kanon Davis, and then Richie, AJ, and then center probably Keba, but only, I mean, because really on this roster right now, it's either Xavier Staten, true freshman, who's he's our only other, or is it just him, or is Burgess a true freshman too? That's coming in with AJ.
Burgess going on a mission. So Burgess.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He just left on his mission. You got Mihailo Boskovic there. Could play some backup 5.
Your other option.
Yeah, if we're talking about questions for the team, I mean, backup 5 is a little bit of a question. I think their plan is to play Keba like 30 minutes a night. Like they're gonna go hard with Keba. They're really trying to get him into shape. He has had some foul trouble in his career, especially at Utah. He got better last year. He did cut down on fouls. But there's going to be nights where he picks up 2 fouls in the first 5 minutes, and BYU's going to have to rely on some of the question marks behind him. So Xavier Stanton was one. Like, he was a big time recruit, but I thought he was very raw. Like, he played his second half of the season at Utah Prep. He didn't even start, and if you're not starting at high school, like he didn't play many meaningful minutes. So honestly, like, I thought I still needed to see him questions. Like, he needs to get a lot stronger. Just needs to understand the game more. Like, I didn't think he'd have much at all of any impact this season, and that kind of manifested itself like in the early workout periods, like in May. But this last 3 weeks in summer, like what I've heard, he's made some really good strides. Like he can shot block. Like, that's one thing he could do. He's about 7 feet. He knows how to protect the rim. He's been
can't
really,
teach height, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's the one clip, like Brandon Davies. He blocked Brandon Davies, like on the low post. Brandon Davies in a move. It's like, okay, wow, that's something. And then just offensively, like, he's like been able to be more of a lob threat. So that's super encouraging for me. Like, he might be able to play some meaningful minutes. Like, again, he's gonna need to get a lot stronger. There's gonna be some just grown men, 5 men that are 4 or 5 year vets in college basketball. They're just gonna bully him, and it's like, okay, maybe get Boskovic on there, someone that's like 22 and just a little more physical. So he's one. Like, Mihailo's a little bit of a wild card. Like, he had some games last year. Like, he was big in the West Virginia game, like the Iowa State game, the Big 10, Big 12 tournament, made a couple big threes. So he has that stretch 5 capability, can play the 4. So he'll probably find spurts. The big one, the big wild card is like Kadim Umbap, like, who redshirted last year, the second half of the year. Like, long term, the plan is for him to be a wing. But what I've heard from he's off-season practices, like, his motor is like a Richie Saunders type motor. Like, he hustles so much. Again, he's raw. He's learning the game of basketball, but his motor will find him a way. He's 6'8", and coaches, I think, a lot of time he's going to find a way to play back at 5 minutes. Like, person that's been watching basketball is familiar with him told him, like, he's like a Taylor, like, Houston would love him. Like, he's the type of person that would fit exactly into Houston, just with this physicality. He's not really a big 3-point shooter, but this physicality, his motor and toughness, like, he's that type of player that Houston would recruit, which is a very high praise. It just kind of gives, okay, this is the kind of player that he is. So I think this year he could find some minutes at backup 5. Probably plays a little bit on the wing, but as a redshirt freshman, I kind of thought, okay, maybe he's still like another year away, but he's got a lot of talent on this team. But I think he's a guy that's going to find minutes this year. He had the redshirt year, half the year, to kind of get his feet wet a little bit in college basketball, and now he's had a full offseason learning the game a little bit. Like, offensively, I think he still might get lost a little bit, like in some of the sets, like BYU wants to do, just moving the ball really quick, and that could get him off the floor sometimes. But just with his motor, the way he'll create second chance points, he'll defend. He could guard bigger than he is just because he's stronger. I think he's going to find a way at the floor, and it could be into some of those backup 5 minutes. So really excited. Kadim, he's been a big bright spot this offseason for BYU.
That's awesome. I feel like that's such a huge part of, especially like of all college sports. Like, just college basketball is definitely one where you can make your mark and carve your way out with just pure hustle. Like, you might not be as good in certain areas, but like, if you are giving, even if you're only out there for like 10 minutes a night, but you are like, your motor is at an unnatural level, Like you can make a big. I mean, I feel like even Richie was a good example of that early on in his BYU career. Like as of late, there's been other guys that have kind of come on. Like Skylar Halford was a little bit like that, like way back in the day, where he'd come in and he'd just be aggressive,
yes, Energizer Bunny.
Yeah, like he wasn't super athletic, but like he was laying it on the line. Like even Nate Austin was kind of like that, like just played hard, maybe couldn't move as fast or as he's very athletic in a lot of ways, but hearing that about maybe guys that are more on the fringe rotation side is really cool. Having been watching like the videos that BYU's been putting out of like the practices and everything, it does feel like there's a very like the floor is very high for the team in terms of like a talent level. Like it's nice when we're talking about a 4-star, Xavier Staten, who's kind of like, he might not play that much this year. Like that's kind of now what we're talking about. Whereas, I mean, even just 2 years ago, it would have been like, hey,
we need this guy to make
like we need this guy. Yeah, he's gonna. We're gonna find a way to get him on the court, type of thing. Versus like now, it's like you've got guys that, Kadeem's more ready. He's been in the system now for a little bit. He's got up to speed. He's got good hustle. Like we'll probably see him this year. It felt very much though, just as I've seen those videos, it's really fun just getting to see. Since there is a lot of like half the team is new, right, between transfers and some of the freshmen that are coming in. So it's cool just getting to see those guys playing together, getting just a little bit of an idea of like what guys are capable of. It felt very much like it didn't feel like a Houston practice. Like I've seen the clips. If people haven't seen it, like they literally Samson will like throw the ball out and it's like guys will literally wrestle each other to the ground just like to be the one that gets the ball. Like that's kind of the level of intensity that they play with, and that's not what Kevin Young's coaching style is, right? So that's not, but it felt similar in terms of the level of basketball. Like it just felt like you're not seeing a lot of like weak links out on the court that are having to practice together. It feels like there's a really cool balance of you do have, some of you have got NBA level type players and not everybody's at that level. But like when your rotation or your bench guys or like the guys that aren't going to really play much this year are still of that caliber of an athlete and have maybe NBA type potential or 4 or 5 year type college potential, you're like, okay, this is very different than what we've dealt with, and I feel like that's something that I'm the most excited for this year because I think Kevin Young coming into year 2, he's retained a lot of good things. Like Richie's been obviously like a huge welcome surprise and gift in terms of just like what he became last year. I don't think that was necessarily on Kevin Young's radar in terms of like what he was expecting to get out of him and have him coming back this year in that type of way. But it does feel like, just across the board, we've got just a really solid group. I think guys that could definitely go and start on all kinds of teams across the country. But just different strengths, different guys that are all bought in with the idea of, hey, let's all work together and try to build, achieve something bigger than just one of us could do. But I feel like I've seen that in the videos, and those have been fun to see. The biggest thing that caught out to me is I think it was the most recent one, but Richie is just like completely shredded. Like he's like has to have like 0% body fat, and
he's going to be incredible. Like he's in incredible shape just because he does so much offensively, defensively. Like his goal is to be the best in shape player in college basketball, and he gets to train up in the altitude, the mountains. Like he's someone that is going to want to play 35 plus minutes a night. As long as he's not in foul trouble, I think Kevin Young's like going to be willing to do that.
It's exciting to see what he can do, and I mean he's like, this is kind of his like NBA showcase season too. I feel like where he's kind of be like, I'm playing with AJ, I'm playing with other high level guys. I've got myself on the radar, and if he can have an awesome season like with the team, it's kind of like I don't know exactly how close or not he was to like actually going to the NBA, and where I think it was like he was like a later second round type of pick, right? We're in that fringe area. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is kind of like he can definitely go out and kind of prove himself, I feel like, this season. So just seeing how he looked in that video, I was like, It's like he's definitely locked in, so that's exciting.
I think what's exciting about Richie, and I'll kind of talk about in terms. I guess before I get to that, because I was going to talk about, obviously we'll talk about AJ and Richie a little bit. I'll kind of just finish this off with the last three transfers BYU got. So BYU got Dominic Diamande from Washington, Nate Pickens from UC Riverside, and then Tyler Maris from Idaho. So Diamande was like the first transfer BYU got this offseason. It was like literally like a week after the season end, super quick. So BYU actually, they wanted him to bring him in last season. They were on him. He's from France. But there were some admission issues. They couldn't get him in by the time school started. So he went to Washington, but he didn't get there until halfway through the season. So he got there in January, which is why BYU's already bringing in Kadeem at that point. That, hey, it just couldn't work out. They wanted to bring him fall. So he went to Washington for a semester, redshirted there the back half of the year. Then BYU, once he hit the transfer portal, BYU brought him in right away. But 6'8" wing, really long. Like, one thing I know where to get from Dominique is defense. Like, he's at 6'8", he could guard like 2 through 4. He's gonna play the 3 to 4 type of positions. Can rebound, can defend. Like, I have no concerns about that. The thing is, like, what can he do for offense? Like, can he play in Kevin Young's system? It's not even just like scoring. Like, can he keep the ball moving? Can he space the floor? Can he hit the shots? That's the thing that's gonna, like, he's gonna hit the rotation, but is he gonna be like the 9th or 10th guy off the bench, or is he gonna be like the first or second guy on the bench? And can he just make smart basketball plays on offense? And maybe it takes like another year for him to really get that. But defensively, like, he's really active, can guard a lot. He's gonna be a really good asset to have on the defensive end. Nate Pickens, senior guard from UC Riverside, he did a good job. BYU played him earlier in the year. He's probably your backup point guard. He could play. He kind of is more of a combo guard, but just what BYU has, like, he can't play the point guard. He's probably, I think Rob Wright, they want to play him 30, 32 plus minutes. So I think Nate Pickens will find some time as a backup point guard, find some time as a combo guard as well. So he's going to find some minutes on this team between those two positions. I think BYU sees him like as a physical guy that could handle the physicality of the Big 12, can really defend. He can't hit he shot close to 40% last year. Yeah, so I think they'll see him in that role. So I don't see him as my ideal, I think what he could be, which would be awesome, I think he could be a Trey Stewart, but with a little bit better offense. And if he gave you that, like, Trey Stewart was a really, like, I mean, Trey Stewart brought a lot from locker room presence, but has found a role at the end because he defended and then he started to give you a little bit of offense. I think Nate Pickens could give you similar type what Trey Stewart did on defense, but with a little bit higher offensive ceiling. So if he could be a better offensive version of Trey Stewart, I think that's great. And then one of the last transfer BYU brought in Tyler Maris from Idaho, and he's a 3-point specialist. He can defend, but he's a 6'7" guy that could shoot. And he's honestly one of my biggest questions for BYU is, like, does BYU have enough shooting on this team? Like I mentioned, Rob Wright has questions. Like, AJ, like, it's going to be great. It's going to be maybe the number 1 pick in the NBA draft, but is AJ someone that can he shoot like mid-30s from 3, or is he going to shoot in the 20s from 3? Because we saw at even this summer recently at the FIBA Under-19 championships, he won MVP there, but he shot horribly from 3, and he's got the ability in him. Like, he had really big games at Utah Prep when he shot well from 3, and he's really been working on it. But that's my number 1 question for AJ. How consistent of a 3-point shot? He's going to get to the free throw line. He's going to defend. He's going to draw a lot of gravity around him, but can he be a consistent 3-point shooter? Like, we know Richie's going to shoot the snot out of the ball, like, but Richie's really the only consistent 3-point shooter in the starting lineup. And BYU brought in Tyler Maris to add more shooting, so I think he gets kind of overlooked. But BYU just doesn't have like a ton of like, okay, this guy we know for sure can shoot. And Tyler with Richie, he's one of those 2 players. I think he's going to may not play as much as Trevin Nell did, but he's going to be that type role. He's not quite the shooter that Trevin is, but he's a little bit longer, can defend a little better. He's a guy shoot high 30s from 3, so he's going to find a role. Like Trevin, like, and he's going to get a lot of open shots in this offense with AJ, with Richie. Like, he's going to come in, just be catch and shoot specialist, and he could fill that role really well. So he's absolutely, I think, more than other, I don't see many people talking about him. He's for sure going to find his way onto this team just because of shooting ability. And there's not many proven shooters on this team. So excited for Tyler Maris, what he could do. He fills a definite role and a void on this team. I was kind of worried for what they got him. It's like, hey, there's not a lot of like proven shooters on this team, but he's for sure a proven college shooter. And that translates because he's going to get a lot of really good licks in this offense, which makes me excited.
That's to your point too. It'll be interesting to see like how much like I take like the Mott Mag example from last season where like he ended up being a way better 3-point shooter than we expected him to be, and then he was historically. So you're kind of like, well, like obviously Kevin Young is an amazing coach, and like they've did a really good job in so many of the games, like exploiting other teams and getting guys into good positions. So I kind of wonder that same thing, like how will some of these, like the Rob Wrights, the AJs, how will some of these guys that maybe it's like they've had inconsistent or maybe not super good 3-point shooting number, like very average. It'll be interesting just to see, like we saw splashes of that last year where you're kind of like coaching does matter, scheming matters, getting an open shot is super different than a contested shot. You know, like NBA players can knock down, 10 threes in a row just shooting around, but they'll shoot, in the 40s or 30s in live gameplay. So it's like, it'll be interesting to see just how much does, that scheme and the gravity of AJ, Richie, guys like that, how that can also affect. But I think I remember we were either texting about it or maybe in the Give 'em Hell Brigham Discord talking a little bit about it, but just that being like when we did get Tyler Mercer, it was like, hey, this is big just to make sure you definitely have, scheming can only get you so far. You still do need to have some guys that you can like know, hey, we know what this guy can bring to the table. He has a clear-cut strength in his 3-point shooting. Exactly.
Having like a clear-cut role, like you mentioned before, like people like know their roles, like he knows exactly what he needs to do. Like he could be a 3-and-D guy. He defend defensively, and he'll need to do that if he wants to get more minutes. But he's gonna be in the corner, be probably coming off screens. Like he averaged 6 to 7 points a game, just knocking down threes, giving spacing. Like he's absolutely like that's a very transferable skill in college basketball. It's sometimes when you come from lower level to higher level, it's like, well, like you don't have like. He's just going to have a lot of, like, AJ just draws so much gravity. Richie's, when he's on the floor, he's going to get all this Rob Wright. So he's going to get a lot of really good looks in this offense. So if he could, like, kind of learn the offense, where to find the space, and that gets chemistry with his teammates, like again, like I'm not saying he's going to be, like, an amazing, like a all Big 12 player or anything, but he has a very defined role in this team, which BYU needs, just like that clear shooter. So there's going to be games where BYU is struggling from 3, and Tyler Maris probably plays 20-plus minutes. And plays 22 minutes a night just because they're struggling from 3 and they need to just knock down some shots.
Get back in a game, something like that.
Yeah.
Even, I mean, Trevin Nell, I feel like he's got to have at least one more year of eligibility, right? Like.
Yeah, he's going to be just a couple more years left.
Just bring him back for one more, right? If we need a little more shooting, just.
Yeah, got us another COVID year in there.
Yeah, we could just put him in. I don't know, just throw him in someone else's jersey. Just sneak him out there real quick.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I guess we get on AJ a little bit. So he's a solid basketball player. I'm hoping. I think by his senior year, he got to really crack. He could find his way into the rotation, be like that, like Dalton Nixon type player that by his senior year
there
really
we go.
Finds his footing. No, everyone knows about AJ. Obviously, his floor. He's gonna get to the free throw line. Like 6'9", just the way he with his physicality, just the way his Euro steps at the rim. And with the new continuation rules in college basketball, he's 100% going to be accused of being a foul merchant this year. Like, he's going to be the foul merchant of college basketball, and I am 100% for it. Like, he's going to
bring it on.
He could lead college basketball in free. Like, we saw it, like, even like when he struggled, like in the FIBA games, it's like, oh, he didn't have a good game. Oh, he had 17 points because he was 14-15 from the foul line. And he could shoot in high school. He shoots 80% plus from the foul line. So he's going to have games where he's like, gets to that foul line 13, 14 times, and like opposing fan bases, teams are absolutely going to hate him because they think he's foul baiting. He loves watching SGA. He follows all that. He knows how to work the refs. But like I'm all here for it. It's like it's all those Utah Jazz fans that they hate watching James Harden and Luka and all those SGA. You better get used to it because we have one of those players at BYU now, and it's gonna be amazing. Because like I said, the new continuation rules in college basketball, it's different because in the past,
Yeah,
NBA
things would be
rules
dead.
Because if you're starting to go to the basket, you get fouled. It's like, hey, take out of bounds unless you're in the bonus. Now it's like, hey, he's gonna get shots in that more end one opportunity. So at a minimum, he's gonna get to the foul a ton. Like he has pull up jumper. Like I mentioned, how consistent can he be from the 3-point line? He doesn't need to shoot 40% because he's not gonna do that. If he shoots 40%, he's gonna run away with the National Player of the Year. He could still do it if he shoots mid-30s, but if he could shoot like at least like 34%, just be like a threat,
pretty
like
average.
One, maybe two, like knockdown average, like 1.5 makes a game. I just like teams have to respect that a little bit more, and it's just like BYU needs a 3 down to end the shot clock. Like he has that in his arsenal. Like he can make threes. There's games Utah prep he'd make 4+ threes. He could get really hot, but how consistent can he be for that? So that's my big question for AJ. One of my big questions I think was kind of answered this summer. Like people were asking like, does AJ translate to winning? Because at Utah Prep, like they underperformed last year. Like again, maybe they didn't have some of the talent as the top teams, but they still had JJ Mandic as their starting point guard, who's one of the best high school point guards. Went to Washington. Mm-hmm. They have Anthony Felici, who's a top 30 player. And he was a junior last year. He's in the 2026 class. BYU's recruiting him. They had a couple other low-level D1 players. Obviously, they had Xavier Stanton the back half of the year. And they underperformed. So it's like, does AJ lead to winning? And I'm glad. I think what he answered, like he has put, like what we saw this year in the USA Basketball, like he was like the alpha. Like what he did in practices, he was like almost like he's almost to a fault too unselfish. Like I think like what's kind of embedded into like US American basketball culture, like you want your top players to be like Kobe, Michael Jordan intensity.
Like give me the ball,
like,
and I'm
like
taking
this
over
isn't,
the game.
Yeah, this isn't like a LeBron like a versus Jordan debate, but one of the reasons some people don't love LeBron, it's like he doesn't have like that killer instinct like
he'll
Michael.
Facilitate, he'll defer.
Yeah, and AJ is a little more like Tracy McGrady's kind of been his comp, but he's like a defer. Like one of the best things about AJ is like just the gravity he draws. Like when he gets to the paint, he brings 3 to 4 guys, and like he'll go up, draw a foul, finish, but he will pass the ball out, which is going to be such a huge benefit to Richie Saunders because AJ gets so much gravity when he goes to the rim just because people know AJ is and what he's capable of. Like Richie Saunders shot well over 40% from 3 last year, being for sure like the number one option. Like he had Diego dishing him the ball, but like he was like now
he was the guy
like,
guys were scheming for. Like he was the player that.
Yep. Now you're going to have your top defender guarding AJ. He's going to get all this gravity, and then Richie's going to get shots. Like I said, that's why I think Tyler Maris is going to play because he's going to get open looks, and he's like one of the most reliable. If you get an open shot, he's going to knock it down. Kanon Davis is going to get open looks. Like I think that's one of the best things about AJ, just the gravity he gets, and he's a willing passer. Like sometimes watching him, it's like you want him to be a little more aggressive. It's like, hey, you could score 40 if you want to. Like be a little more selfish sometimes. So one of my questions is going, does AJ really lead to winning? And I still have a little bit of that question. Like I don't think BYU fans are asking that question, but like I want to see it because we saw Utah Prep. He underperformed last year. So again, but with the way his playing style is, be unselfish, and the way to draw fouls, like we've really never seen anything like AJ, and like the way his defensive intensity too, like it was really consistent in USA Basketball. If that could continue, like it's fun watching USA Basketball over the summer. He's played some really good guys. Like they would press, and he was like the leader of the press. Like, he's essentially playing point guard on defense, like guarding, trapping. So just that spoke volumes to me about his willingness to guard and defend. So that's exciting for AJ, just like the gravity he could do and just what that could mean for this offense. So it can mean like you could take Richie to the next level, you could take Rob Wright, you could take all these players to the next level. So that's, again, like I said, I have real questions about AJ. Like not everything's like that's like I don't think BYU's a lock to win the national championship, but there is there's still questions, but there's like it's going to be. I still don't think we fully comprehend what's going to be like some games watching AJ, just that level
a player
of talent.
Of his caliber,
because he's not just like any high, like he's the Nike is like making him a face.
He's built
like,
different.
Like he's like Kevin Garnett had an interview with him. Like Kevin Durant talks with him know who he is. Like all the top NBA players know who he is. He's not just a really good high school recruit. Like he's almost up there like in the Zion Williamson type tier. Like even like almost
he's a face of college
Flag.
basketball type of player.
He's the face. He's the face of a young American basketball type players. Like young America is like relying on him. It's like all these Europeans have won the MVP.
We need this to work out.
Can AJ Dybantsa be the next like face of USA basketball and like NBA basketball as an American? Like that's the type of player. It's not just like he's a really good college basketball player. He is he's people that follow the NBA will watch BYU this year because of AJ Dybantsa.
Right,
like,
just
that's
to
the type
see
of
him
impact he has. It's
like
almost in some ways like like people watch Colorado because of Dion. Like so many people were going to watch BYU because of AJ Dybantsa. Like, and I think BYU fans aren't quite like fully grasping that yet. Just like he's like the face of young American basketball.
Well, I think the only in recent memory, I mean, Jimmer's like the only player that we've had, and Jimmer mania was crazy. Like between him and Zion, like, I don't know after him until there was Zion. I don't know if there was like a must-see TV college basketball player of his caliber. Really, there's obviously but it was like a thing where people would literally watch BYU. Well, yeah, but like watching him like literally, I'm watching Jimmer. I'm like he plays on BYU, but I'm here to watch Jimmer.
Like BYU's going to be a ton on ESPN. Like their first game's TNT.
Yeah, our TV slate
they're going to be on ESPN at 10. They're going to be against a big Monday. They're not going to be.
Well, it's gotten us a big schedule too. Like it's helped us secure some good out of conference games.
Yeah. Yeah.
That are just, you're not going to have as much opportunity for those when you don't have like BYU's done pretty good with those like when we've wanted to, but that it is exciting to see that. To your point too, I feel like something with AJ that it does seem like when you mentioned his defensive intensity that he's shown with Team USA, just from his interviews and from like him talking about his play style and what he wants. I think when he committed on when you're mentioning things like he committed on ESPN with Stephen A. Smith, whether you like Stephen A. Smith or not, but like the fact that he did that is just like guys don't get to do that. Like that's
he was probably the only college basketball player that could have called Stephen A. Smith and done that.
And he'd be like, okay,
Darren Peterson for Kansas may be the number one pick, like probably him or AJ, but like Darren Peterson, he's come along stronger, but he's not the face of future USA basketball like AJ is. Like it's
right.
AJ's just different, just with his just perception he has just in the basketball community. And just it's different.
It's so exciting, man. But yeah, I mean, in that interview, I think he mentioned that Shaq somehow got in touch with him and was like saying, you need to be rebounding, like you need to get in there and you should have
his
better rebounding
his
numbers.
agent slash it's not his agent but his like financial advisor was like Shaq's financial advisor in the NBA.
Okay,
so that's how he
go.
that's how his Shaq connection. Like
but
all like the
like
top NBA players like know him. Like he was on Paul George's podcast. Like Kevin Garnett just talked to them. He was on a podcast like Kevin Durant. He's talked to for years. He was on a podcast with them a few months ago. Like he's like all the top NBA players know him, and like he's like. Yeah, we already talked to, like, I'm not going to beat it too much.
He's got the built-in clout. Like, when he enters the league, it's not like he won't have to go through the same type of, like, he'll enter as, like, they want to anoint him a star.
No.
It's not going to be, like, he's got to earn his way in and, like, prove his way that, like, hey, I'm actually legit. Like, the NBA is going to be like, hey, we want you to be good. Like, they're gonna there's gonna be the path for him to do it, and which is
even some number one
crazy.
Picks like Cade Cunningham's very good from the Pistons, was the number one recruit. Like he didn't have like just that clout that AJ had. I don't know if AJ's gonna be like what Anthony Edwards is, but Anthony Edwards is the number one pick. He didn't have like just the perception that AJ has right now. Like Cooper Flagg had some of that last year, especially because he went to Duke. Like that helped a lot too. But really, it's up there. Like you compare it to Cooper Flagg, Zion. Those guys went to Duke. Like AJ, and those guys still would have been no matter what. But AJ is like because he's AJ. It's not because he's 0% he's at Duke. I mean, he's at BYU, and obviously we love BYU, but BYU has no like Jimmer gave BYU a little bit of clout, but just like in the basketball community, not even college, like BYU has no like just street cred, and AJ's giving BYU.
You're telling me we don't have street cred, Robby?
Yeah, but now AJ gives BYU street cred now.
Kevin
which
Young
is
gives
why,
us some street cred too.
Yeah.
He's introducing he's kind of like the entry level that he's opened the door to letting us have that.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
NIL, but
yeah. I mean, it's a different BYU. I mean, it's you talked about. It's like BYU St. Mary's, Wisconsin. It's like, oh, the classic 5 white guys on the court, and it's just
no.
like, yeah, it's a different era with BYU. And it seems like guys that are buying into BYU too. So, yeah, AJ is like, it's not college basketball. It's like American basketball. It's like AJ is like kind of carrying young American basketball on his shoulders, and he has for a few years now.
So we need everybody to get in behind BYU and support American basketball, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
But it does. I feel like he's got, like you said, like maybe for like the uninitiated, such as even myself, when it comes to following Utah Prep, in what ways did they underperform, like in the high school scope or high school field?
Yeah.
Like what were expectations and what ended up happening?
I think it's called like the Chipotle Nationals, like the big high school tournament at the end. Like Utah Prep didn't qualify for that because they didn't win enough. Like they they were still good, but they lost like way more games than they should have. And part of it maybe they didn't have as much talent as other teams, but again, they still had good D1 talent, and they had AJ on the team. And
basketball is a sport where if you have the arguably number one player, you're like, hey, that could probably be enough to get us that alone.
Yeah.
Like to your point, maybe that's where like the root of that question is like, well, if you are that good, shouldn't that be enough at least to get you into, like you say, like this postseason level, like win enough to qualify for that?
Yeah. And Utah Prep was kind of a mess too. Like they had the new coach middle of the season. Like one of their founders was exited right before the season started. So like there was a lot of instability there. But yeah, they did underperform. There's no denying it. But so thinking that, but AJ, especially with his USA performance and like the way his teammates and the coaches talked about it, the way what he did in practice and the games, that's the manner in which he played. It's not just that he won all the games. Like he was jacking up a bunch of shots. Like he played very unselfishly. He did try to make the right basketball play. So that did quell some of my concerns, even though it's like something I'll still be watching.
Yeah. And it's cool too. I mean, I think Kevin Young, what he accomplished in 1 year is honestly crazy. Like the fact that even at the beginning of this, we can joke about like following up from our Sweet 16 loss is like never in our history have we been like Sweet 16. Now we're actually have higher expectations for the following season. That's not a thing. So like it's awesome that he already came in and he blew the lid off of even what our hopes were for last season. Really last year ceiling, I feel like was like, maybe not ceiling, but like what did we really hope for was a tournament win. Like that was really like, let's make the tournament first of all, which is already like, if he just made the tournament last year, that would have been a huge accomplishment for a first year coach in college coming in and just like taking over our program, retooling it, like where it's like, we're not like he changed, right? He changed the formula of how are we recruiting? How are we developing? He's starting from scratch in a lot of ways. Yeah. So just like he already exceeded, which was like, hey, let's at least make the tournament. That's a successful season. And if we can win a game and get that monkey off our back, like that would be awesome. He did that. And then like he got us to the second weekend. He got us to the Sweet 16 for what, like is it the third time? I guess it depends on which Sweet 16s you count, but I think in the official era, this was our
Danny Ainge, Jimmer, and then this year.
And then this one, so our third, and then I think we had 3 back in a
back
different
before
era,
basketball had counted. Back when people couldn't dribble with their left hand.
So that's the other thing go ahead.
I think kind of what shows the program. Like I almost wish like we're almost just like forgetting the Wisconsin game happened. Like it had like ever since it happened. Like normally, like that's like arguably like a top
crazy.
3 win in BYU basketball history. That got us to the Sweet 16 game. The manner in which BYU won, like John Tonje, their top guard, was going off on us, and then Mag blocked him at the end. And like BYU won that.
My heart was in my throat, like that whole game, or my stomach. Like I don't know, all of it. It was just like I could not.
I know.
I was like physically not okay, but also just like I couldn't. It was unbelievable to be like, this is real. Like we're in it. We're in a game. we're in it. We're in the round of 32, like Sweet 16 on the line. Yeah, I mean that game was pinnacle of fandom, getting to experience that.
And it's exciting because it shows like where BYU basketball program's going. Like that could just be like that's like the start of like this big run. Like this year, hopefully we get to Final Four. Then we use Kevin Youngster and keep stacking seasons on top of each other. But it's like because normally for BYU sports fandom, it's like like we reminisce like like Bechdel Harleen, like like the Tanner Mangum Hail Mary, that Jimmer San Diego State Kawhi game, like all these individual games, because we've like obviously BYU won the national championship in 1984, but we've reached that pinnacle so few times. It's like what's the one thing that's really cool about BYU fandom? We really appreciate those really big games. So as part of me, it's like I wish like we like that Wisconsin game sometime almost could be lost in BYU basketball lore because of what we're gonna hopefully
because of what's happened, what's about to happen,
which is great with the program's at. But it's like man, like that was.
Don't forget about it.
I want to appreciate that moment too because that game was fun. So
it was. I think I even catch myself. I tend to kind of more come to we ended up getting blown out in the Sweet 16 to Bama, and it wasn't heartbreaking, but like it was a bummer. But yeah, I mean like just take it a step back and be like that's something that's literally that's the third time we've done that in history. But I kind of bring that up just to say. I think AJ, the cool thing with AJ that, I mean, his talent is so raw in terms of just his actual physical abilities, in addition to everything he's developed to this point, that when you also pair him with Kevin Young, basically, even though, again, we only have 1 year of like to back up all of this, it does feel like he knows how to take guys and just mold them into guys that can help win games in the college level while still like preparing for the NBA level. And AJ's kind of this like, like this opportunity for him, for AJ and for BYU where it's like, can this kind of come together perfectly? We don't have to make a Final Four or win a national championship for it to like, to come together. But I do feel like you've kind of got like Richie is a good example of like, obviously the right player, but with like the right coach and the right support staff around him, he became something amazing in last season. So it's like AJ, you've got the like all the raw material and the player, he's there, and then it's just kind of like, so I think it's all there, and it'll be cool just to see, how does the AJ that, like to your point, maybe is maybe a little too unselfish at times, like. Kevin Young's going to tell him what he should be doing, and even in these videos they've been putting out, it's cool. Like he's stopped practice, in the middle of
that clip was cool.
Yeah, and he just comes over and he's like,
AJ.
I see that, like that's going to be there for you a lot, like where you can drift to the corner, then make your decision, like so he's in his mind, and it's awesome that he even he coached Kevin Durant, who maybe some similarities just in terms of some of their abilities, and I know there's some connections there too. So. As you were kind of talking about, I think it's super fair to say, hey, yeah, like it's not just a guaranteed like, oh yeah, he's a number one player in the class, so we're just going to go, we're going to win a bunch, and we're definitely going to go to the Elite Eight because we went to the Sweet 16 last year. Like, I mean, Rutgers had 2 top 5 NBA players, and they freaking stunk last year. Yeah, they were not good. So, it's not just that easy. But the cool thing is, Kevin Young has already shown just in one short year. Like, hey, I've got a foundation here that we should be able to build on.
Yeah. No, it's exciting. I mean, it's the reason it's the most anticipated season in BYU basketball history. And I mean,
absolutely,
we could go. We'll call it here. I mean, I could talk more about recruiting, more about things that excited me about the team, worry me about the team, rotations, a couple injuries that concern me. But maybe we could leave that for a future episode. Again, the injury is nothing big. He was going to be fine. More concerned about Dawson Baker's foot. Hopefully that turns out okay. But
it's been a tough one for him, yeah.
Yeah.
I know we talked about, too, like Robby and I wanted to get somewhat of a mailbag. Would be fun for before the season starts. So we'll probably try to facilitate that through the Give 'em Hell Brigham Discord. So anyone who's listening, if you're not a part of that, we definitely recommend you become part of that Discord and part of that community. There's a lot of cool insights. That Robby shares for basketball, and then Jeff Hansen shares for football. So a lot of cool access, and especially right now, like before the season is starting, it's fun to just get to like understand more about what's going on with recruiting, things like that. So we'll put some of that out on Twitter for that, but we definitely would love as the season's still a few months away, get some of y'all's questions and kind of use that as some of the things that we could cover as football season starts and as we get ready for the season. So look for that. And if you're not part of the Discord with them, definitely join and become a part of what's going on there.
Yeah. Rise and hoop.
Rise and hoop.